Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session. I'm MG Ekanaik from the Problem Solving Institute in Sri Lanka. I'm excited to have you here as we explore the topic, how to understand problem complexity. Today, we'll be discussing effective ways to analyze and tackle complex problems. We'll cover key concepts and practical strategies to improve our problem-solving skills. I'm glad you could join us, and I look forward to an engaging and insightful session. Now, let's dive into how to create problem complexity. One of the foundational concepts here is the iceberg principle. Just like an iceberg, what we see on the surface is only a small part of the entire picture. Beneath the surface lies a much larger, often hidden, set of issues that contribute to the problem. Recognizing this helps us understand that tackling only the visible symptoms isn't enough. We need to explore what's underneath. Next, we have the idea of the problem hierarchy. This is about understanding that problems are often layered. At the top, you have the immediate issue, what's most obvious, and below that, there's a hierarchy of underlying causes. By mapping out this hierarchy, we can identify root causes rather than just addressing symptoms, which ultimately leads to more effective solutions. Both of these concepts, the iceberg principle and problem hierarchy, are crucial because they connect directly to our larger goal of managing complexity. They remind us that problems are rarely simple, and that creating a thorough understanding of their depth and structure is essential. When we approach problems with this mindset, we're better equipped to develop strategies that address complexity head-on, rather than just scratching the surface. Creating problem complexity involves a systematic assessment of several key factors that influence how difficult a problem is to understand and solve. First, let's consider the accessibility of the root cause. If the root cause is easily observable or quickly identifiable, then the problem is relatively simple. But if it's hidden, indirect, or masked by multiple symptoms, the complexity naturally increases. Next, evaluate the depth of the root cause. Some problems come from surface-level issues, which are easier to pinpoint. Others stem from deeper systemic, process, or design-related causes. The deeper the root cause is buried within layers of systems or processes, the more complex the problem tends to be. Finally, assess the type of problem-solving tools required. Simple problems can often be tackled with basic tools like checklists or cause and effect diagrams. But when you're dealing with more complex issues, you might need advanced analytical methods, such as statistical analysis, simulations, or specialized software. The need for these advanced tools clearly indicates higher complexity. So, when thinking about how difficult it is to understand the root cause or how to create problem complexity, remember that these factors, accessibility, depth, and the tools needed, are all interconnected. Recognizing and evaluating them helps us develop a clearer strategy for addressing even the most challenging problems. Now, let's look at the next factor to consider when creating problem complexity. It's important to factor in the time needed to reach the root cause. Typically, problems that can be diagnosed quickly tend to be less complex because they might involve straightforward issues or instant insights. On the other hand, if a problem requires extended investigation, data collection, and validation over time, it indicates a more complex situation. This means that the amount of time and effort needed to understand the problem is a key indicator of its complexity. Finally, we need to consider the type of subject matter expertise, or SME, that's required to solve the problem. If a solution can be achieved with general knowledge or by a single individual, then it's generally less complex. But when a problem demands multiple experts, cross-functional knowledge, or highly specialized skills, it becomes inherently more complex. By evaluating these dimensions, the diagnostic time and the SME requirements, together, we can classify and scale problem complexity in a structured way. This helps us plan better, allocate resources efficiently, and choose the most appropriate problem-solving approach. It's all about making smarter decisions based on a clear understanding of the problem's complexity. Let's take a closer look at the iceberg principle. This concept is all about how we see only a small part of the full picture, much like an iceberg. The tip, which is visible above the water, represents the easily observable aspects of a situation or problem. But underneath, There's a much larger mass that's hidden from view. These are the underlying causes, patterns, and assumptions that truly drive what we see on the surface. Understanding this principle is crucial because it reminds us not to jump to conclusions based only on the surface. Instead, we need to dig deeper to identify those hidden factors. When we do that, we can make more informed decisions and implement more effective solutions. This idea ties back to our overall theme of effective problem-solving and strategic thinking. Recognizing that what's visible is only a fraction of the whole helps us approach challenges more thoughtfully and comprehensively. Let's take a closer look at the problem hierarchy. This slide is all about understanding how problems are structured and interconnected. At the top, we have the overarching challenge that we're trying to address. Beneath that, we can break it down into more specific issues or sub-problems that contribute to the larger problem. And further down, these sub-problems can be divided into even more detailed components or root causes. The key here is to recognize that not all problems are equal. Some are symptoms, while others are fundamental causes. By mapping out this hierarchy, we can prioritize our efforts on the most impactful areas. This approach helps us see the bigger picture, ensuring we're tackling the right issues in the right order. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding the problem hierarchy is crucial for developing effective solutions that address the core issues rather than just surface-level symptoms. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I really appreciate the opportunity to share these insights with you. Remember, the key points we've discussed highlight the importance of understanding our audience, leveraging the right tools, and continuously improving our strategies. These concepts are at the heart of achieving success in any project or initiative. I hope you found this presentation helpful and inspiring. If you have any questions or want to discuss further, please feel free to reach out. Once again, thank you for being such an engaged audience. I look forward to seeing how you apply these ideas moving forward.